Previously on the recap sequence.
On this episode of the recap sequence, we begin our East Coast Comic Expo 10th Anniversary Celebration Series with ECCE guests Tara Audibert, Glen Carabin, Mike Del Mundo, and Sandy Carruthers. Enjoy the show.
Hey guys, it's Ryan here for the recap sequence and the 10th anniversary of East Coast Comic Expo, and we are starting our podcast day off by talking to the lovely and talented Tara Audibert. Welcome.
Thank you.
Was that okay for an introduction?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Geez, wow.
Welcome. We missed you last year. It's nice to have you here for the 10th anniversary. How are you doing these days?
Oh, amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Are you staying busy?
Yes. Yes. I'm trying to take a break right now, actually, and be on a little hiatus.
Well, let's talk about the project that you're here for. Now, I am not going to attempt to say what the title of your film project is, but please go ahead. Tell us.
That's okay. Yeah, it took me a while to learn how to say it as well, too. So it's Guaxos Naga Wahantusis, which means the fox and the tiny demon in Wolastoqey. So even like as I was going through it, to come up with the title of it, it's in Wolastoqey. So I talked to my aunt about translating it, my great aunt, who is fluent in Wolastoqey, and she was telling me, okay, well, there is the devil. The devil is Wahant. But I wanted a tiny devil or a tiny demon, and so there wasn't even actually like a kind of a word for that. Mm-hmm. So she had to, kind of tell me like, because the devil is just the devil, and so they just had the word. So adding the cis to the end, and you might even recognize that from some things in New Brunswick, Quispam cis, Kennebec cis. Okay. That tiny cis is tiny. So the tiny demon, Wahantu cis.
Wow! Now, here at the event this weekend, it's going to be a special screening of your film.
Yes, yeah.
Is this the first time anyone's going to see it?
No, it did already premiere in Miramichi, where
Okay.
I'm from. So I had a premiere at the Cineplex there, and it's actually been screened in several film festivals.
Oh,
and
wow.
It already has won Best Animated Film for the Montreal Women in Film Festival.
Congratulations!
Yeah, thank you.
Wow, that's quite.
It's
a huge honor for that. Wow, that's
absolutely.
How long has it? So how long has this project been percolating? I guess.
I started thinking about this, and it was just a short story back in like 2016, I think it was, and I got my aunt to translate as a short version. I was going to make a short film in 2017, 2018. And then it's been since then that I was working on other projects, just got busy doing other things. And then I saw there was a grant for a feature-length film from the Canada Council for the Arts. So I was like, oh, geez, maybe that could be a bit longer, I guess. I could make it a little bit longer.
Yeah.
So, I went to that. And then I was able to apply for another grant, which they needed a little bit of a longer film, so it ended up being that it's 80 minutes now and like a full-length feature film.
That's incredible. Now, some of the people who have collaborated with you are actually here this weekend as well, are they not?
Yeah, it's very cool. Devin Taylor's here. He worked on the storyboards, and so is Keith Drury. He also worked on the storyboards. There's only 3 people working on the storyboards for the entire film. Wow. So, and Devin did half of them. Keith did like a quarter of them, that's a phenomenal amount of storyboards for one person to do. So it's just amazing to be able to work with artists like that are from here.
How nervous were you at the premiere?
Oh, geez. I was more relieved than nervous. Like, it is finally done. It was only supposed to be a 10-month project. It ended up turning into like a 2-year project. Wow. So it was a lot more. And the main reason for that was just the quality of work. So what I initially was looking to do was something like maybe of much less quality that would have been more maybe within my wheelhouse. But the artists that I worked with, and especially I'm going to say like Devin and Keith, and also there's Danielle Wilson working on the storyboards, they kind of elevated the film to make it much better than even what I had envisioned, which cost more in the end and took more time.
But that's part of the fun, right?
Geez. And it was just like, what am I going to do? Say, yeah, this has to be worse? Like, I can't, it's too late. It looks too good now. So I had to make that.
If people are watching this afterwards and they want to actually see your film, where will it be available?
So I am looking for a distributor right now.
Okay.
So hopefully I'll be able to, not hopefully, I'm pretty sure I'll be getting it to a streaming service eventually. But for most films, short films, and feature films, they do like a film festival tour for about a year.
Oh, so you're on tour essentially
so I'm
right now.
tour right now, yeah. So it's been entered into like a ton of different film festivals. So you can go onto moxiefox.ca and you can subscribe and you'll get notifications of when it's screening in different places. So it's going to be screening actually this month in Toronto for the Toronto Entertainment and Arts Film Festival. And it's going to be screening in North Carolina. I can't remember the dates either, but soon for the Lumbee Film Festival, which is the largest, one of the largest Indigenous film festivals in the United States. So it's really cool. It's really a different thing because it's the first animated feature film produced in New Brunswick, and also the first animated feature film in Wolastoqey in the language. So it's
It's super exciting.
and I didn't know any of that when I was making it until after. I'm like, okay, so like I should look around and see like what these other New Brunswick animated film have done or where they've been. Oh, there isn't any. So I'm like kind of just just on my own trying to figure out that sort of thing, and then to find out, I kind of already did know that it would be the first animated feature film in Wolastoqey because it's an endangered language with less than 100 fluent speakers remaining. When I heard that, I put two and two together and like, well, if there's only 100 fluent speakers remaining, that's my family.
Yeah.
So those are people that I'm related to because I know my aunts, my mom's family, all these people, they're the speakers. So I was like, oh my gosh, and as they get older, they're going to be gone. So this is something that has to be preserved. And, I just love working with my aunt. So it was awesome. I get to get her to translate it. And she even had to like kind of make up some words because there wasn't a word for that. That's, for nowadays. So she's putting together words, creating words. So like, that's also an amazing thing to be a part of as well.
This is super exciting because, we talk to a lot of comic creators and authors and whatnot, and we're saying, what's your con schedule like? And now we get an idea. So you're traveling around to these different festivals and shows. And do you get, what do you tell people who come up to you and go, how do I do this? Because, literally, you are the prototype for here in New Brunswick.
Oh, geez, yeah. I hope
right?
It's like, it's hard. I honestly don't know. And a lot of people even ask me, too, like, about how to get into comics and things like that. I've done just a ton of different things. I was a teacher, but I started out working in animation. And honestly, that's what I tell most of the people that come up to me, how do you get into that sort of thing, is, well, I worked in animation. And really, it's just a vehicle for your ideas. So a lot of times people say, like, what do you do for a living? But, like, I like to say I'm a storyteller. So I have all these different things. I have books, I have comics, there's children's books, there's the movies, and all of these things. But those are just, like, the vehicles for getting my stories out and telling those stories because, you look at all these different, even actors and stuff in Hollywood are like, I have to write my own film so that I can go and act in it to be able to be a part of that. And this is kind of the same for me. I want to write it. Well, I can't afford to pay someone to do it, and I just end up doing it. So
and now
learn how to animate, learn how to draw. Yeah.
And now it's there, and you can go. That's a final sigh of relief.
Yes.
Well, listen, Tara, I don't want to take up any more of your time. I know they were just opening up the doors here at ECCE, and you've got a special screening later. Will you be doing a Q&A afterwards with them?
I'm not sure.
Okay, well,
actually, but maybe.
Hopefully we've warmed you up to the audience, but thank you so much for doing this morning.
Yes, it was a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Congratulations on the film and the awards, and have fun doing the travel now.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
This is Graham McTavish from House of the Dragon and Outlander, and you are listening to the recap sequence with Jamie and Ryan.
Guys, it's Ryan here, and we are back at ECCE, and we're here with Glen Carabin. Did I get it right?
Carabin, yep.
Welcome to East Coast Comic Expo.
Thank you, Ryan. Pleasure to be here.
Pleasure to have you. And funny enough, you and I met about 2 years ago, and so I was super excited when I saw that you were announced as a guest here for the show, because I met you at DCAF.
Yep.
And I was very happy to purchase issues 1 and 2 of Dartmouth.
Dartmouth, yep.
And fantastic. All right, talk about this first of all, because you sales pitched me at DCAF, and obviously you did a pretty good job because I got the first 2 issues. So
DCAF is a very special show for me. It was the first show that I ever did, and that's where I introduced Dartmouth 1. I ran 100 copies of it, set it in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia, right? So and a little community within Dartmouth is Burnside. So I set Dartmouth in the Burnside community of Dartmouth, just so the people who I might be selling it to at DCAF would have something to relate to.
Right.
So I ran 100 copies of it, hoping that it would connect with people, and I ended up selling out of those 100 copies.
did you? Congratulations.
Yes, sold out of those 100 copies, and so considered that a success.
Absolutely.
Did a couple of prints since then.
Yeah.
Went on to do an issue 2. The first issue, it was one complete story. There were a couple of little nuggets and threads that I can expand on,
right,
just in case I did get that success with it. It ended up selling, so I decided to do number 2. Continued with those threads. It's kind of like the middle part of the story where the evil kind of stuff comes to the surface and percolates. We learn a little bit more about why Dartmouth is here and all that kind of stuff. And Dartmouth goes on his journey to find out why he became what he became, this kind of supernatural, superpowered ghost. And so then I reprinted number 1 and 2, sold a bunch at DCAF, met you at DCAF, met a bunch of other people. And during DCAF last year, Don Mann approached my table. I didn't really know who Don was. I seen him before, but I didn't put 2 and 2 together when he came to my table.
Right.
So I was telling him about Dartmouth, and he bought a couple of copies, and he said to me, this is an interesting story. Would you be interested in being a guest at the East Coast Comic Expo, a featured guest? And so again, DCAF is a special place to me because that's how I ended up here and doing this podcast today.
How exciting is it for you, though, like to be able to, because you are the writer and artist on this, correct?
Yep, correct.
How long did the first issue take for you to?
Yeah, it takes about 2 years.
Yeah?
Yeah, I have a young family. We're just getting started. So I'm able to get at these comics usually at night. I put on a game. I love hockey. I love baseball. I love basketball. I love football. I'll put on a game and during the night, and I might get at it around 9:30. Depending on how I'm feeling, 9:30 at night, right?
Yeah.
And
how long will you go for?
I'll on a school night. Sometimes I'll stay up. I shouldn't be saying this, but around 1 a.m. if I'm rolling. Yeah, if I'm rolling on this thing, I'll stay up till 1. And some nights, 11:30 or whenever the game's over, right? That's when I call it quits. And but then you get me on a weekend. I'll stay up all night if I'm feeling good, and I see a page being completed. So throughout the week, small wins. I might get a little panel, might get one character done, might get one little action scene or something colored, and I'm like, but you got to pick at it every night, and by the end of a week or 2, you might have a page.
Right.
On a Saturday, anytime after supper, I'll roll until about 5 a.m. Before the sun comes up if I'm doing well, because I can see that page and I'll get a whole page done
You're in the zone essentially.
In that amount of time. Yeah, I'll have my green tea, I'll have a coffee, I'll have a couple of snacks. And
so, what's your background then? Did you always want to get into comics?
I did always love comics, ever since the first comics I fell in love with was Batman Death in the Family, Jim Starlin, Aparo, right? So I really loved that comic, and then Todd McFarlane's Spider-Man around that same time, the late 80s, early 90s. So I loved it then, got out of it later when you're going to school and university and all that kind of stuff. And then ended up getting a job with a little bit extra money to spend. And I had been writing that whole time, for school newspapers, local magazines, university papers. So I'd been writing that whole time. I've been writing for over 20 years, little stuff. And doing little photography during that time as well. And then once I finally got out into the workforce and worked 9 to 5, then you have all this time afterwards and a little bit of money to spend. So I started visiting the comic shops again. What did I like? What gave me joy? I started going to the comic shops, bought a few comics, and then realized that I love comics. I love writing. This might be the medium where I get to express myself. So I started combining what I've been doing for the last 20 years, writing, taking some photos, editing them, doing little scenes and stuff like that. And then one night I was sitting on a couch in Dartmouth with my wife, thinking about that sign I see on the way to work every day, Dartmouth, and I think that says Dartmouth to me. What is Dartmouth? So I had my little phone out.
Yeah.
I downloaded a dartboard, right, just from a clip art from the web, downloaded a dart, and made a little mouth with the dart, and I downloaded a clip art of a cloak, and I just put all this stuff on the cloak, and I looked to my wife, I said, Brittany, check that guy, that's Dartmouth. And she just looked at me like, what are you doing over there? Is that what you've been doing for the last hour? Just making this thing? I said, yeah, and and once I made him, I couldn't let him go. I was always thinking, I was like, this is something. And I went online to see if it's been done before. I'm like, somebody in Nova Scotia must have made a Dartmouth. I looked through everything. I scoured the internet, and I could not find a word or an image of it anywhere. So I said, I got something here. And I shopped it around to comic shops a lot. So I'm in comic shops and talking to the store owner saying, I got this little character, I need an artist. So I did that for like 2 years.
Wow.
Right? And I couldn't find an artist. Artists like, we don't have time to do your character. We have our own stuff that we want to do. It's going to cost you thousands, to get an artist to do this book. So I was at Strange Adventures one afternoon, speaking with JJ, right? One of the employees at Strange Adventures. She said, why don't you just do your own art for it? Why don't you just give it a shot and do your own art? Like that little thing you're showing me?
Had you ever thought about that? Just doing your own art?
For like 20 pages?
Yeah.
No. I didn't. But she encouraged me. She said, do it. Just see what happens. Yeah. Like you try a page, right? And so I did it, and I learned how to use Photoshop, as kind of like an industry standard. So I started playing around with Photoshop, all the options in there. Did a page. I'm like, holy smokes, that actually looks like a comic book. So I wrote issue 1. It ended up being 32 pages. Yeah, and so
here it is. You did the cover, then assume as well.
All
the works.
All
it's incredible. It's very eye catching. Because I took courses where red's the thing that catches everyone's eye. You walk by this, what do you see? Red,
those smokestacks.
Yeah, exactly. So it's very well done on that. And just listening to you now talk about it, you're so passionate about that, where you've got this character and you want to create something and see it come to light. So I'm super happy that you were able to pull this off. And issue 2, yes, I like the warning, scenes of extreme violence. I'm glad you've tagged that in there. How's the reception been for Dartmouth?
Okay, so issue 1, I'm hoping issue 1 sold hundreds of copies. Okay. Mm-hmm. It's been really good, and people continue to buy issue 1. Issue 1's been around for 5 years now, and I'm still looking for an artist. I'm still doing my own art, but I still want to make a legit a real comic book and work with an artist. So every chance I get, I say, I'm still looking for an artist to do this sort of thing. And we'll redo number 1, we'll redo number 2 in a real comic book art form. In the meantime, I'm enjoying this, so I'll continue to do this. People buy them. Mm-hmm. People bought issue 2, and I was planning on having issue 3 done. It takes about 2 years to do it. And so I'm planning on having issue 3 done for DCAF this year.
Oh, wow.
Right? But when Don said, we want to have you as a guest at ECCE, this is the biggest comic show on the East Coast.
Yep.
I said, I got to get to work, right? I need to put in a few more later nights. So I got number 3 done for this show.
So it's here today on the floor.
Issue 3 is here. I'll get you a
Fabulous.
copy.
I'm coming to find one.
I'll get you a copy of issue 3. It wraps the whole thing up. So
okay.
It's about a 120-page story now. Mm-hmm. Number 1 is a self-contained story, but with the success of it, I was able to kind of give some of the characters an actual arc in their their character progression, and so it continued. Those arcs continue through issue 2. There's rises, there's falls, and we get to issue 3 where all those different character arcs kind of converge in a little twist at the end of issue 3.
Okay, so you're saying issue 3 kind of wraps everything up nicely, but
yep.
in your brain percolating away, are there more issues potentially, or do you have other characters now all of a sudden?
So issue 3 wraps up the story for a lot of the characters.
Okay.
You know, they reach this kind of conclusion.
Yeah.
But the world that was built, the issue 3 leaves us in that world. And that world is, there's a lot of terror, horror lurking around the communities now after all the characters kind of have their ending, but we're left with a real dilemma that we have to deal with at the end of issue 3.
Okay, that's pretty cool. All right, so again, you got me hooked. I'm going to come find you later on our break. What's it like being here at East Coast Comic Expo? I know you were here yesterday, Friday night. They had a lot of people through the doors here and stuff. Do you have people coming up to you going, how do I want to get started? Like, okay, so if someone does come up to you now in future shows, says, how do I get into this, what would you tell them?
I did. I had an artist actually come up to me yesterday, and we were talking about books, and they said they had stories, but they just do art. They didn't make a comic yet, but they are a comic artist, and they're a great comic artist. And I said, what's your story? So we started talking about it a little bit, and I said, if you want to make a comic, right, you don't necessarily know if people are going to buy it. So you got to put something in there that connects. And one of the kind of little tricks that I used in, you know, having hope that it would find an audience is I told the story I wanted to tell with this little character, but I put it in a setting, a town, their town, where I was selling the actual comic book in Dartmouth. So I said it, if you give people something that they can relate to, and that can be anything really, but what I found was, if I said it in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia, and people see the smokestacks, they see the name of the town on there, and then they see that little character, oh, he has darts for mouth, he has dartboard fries. It must be set in Dartmouth. I'm like, you know, go figure. Yeah, that's where I live. It is set in Dartmouth. So they relate to that. And it was kind of like my in with the local audience. And it started locally at DCAF in Dartmouth. And you know, there's people from New Brunswick going to DCAF. There's people from Toronto going to DCAF. So I got the books in the hand, people from out west, Edmonton, Calgary. So I got the book in the hands of those people. So hopefully it had spread from a local community that where I sold a bunch of comics. And that gave me an opportunity to get to those shows and get it into the hands of people where it was able to get a little bit out in the world. I found out that some of those comics even made it down to places like Seattle in the States. And yeah,
that's exciting.
Yeah, that was interesting to hear that some tourist stuff, the cruise ship bought it and took it down to the United States.
Really?
Yep. So
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Hopefully this expands out for you. Will you be doing more convention? Obviously you're doing DCAF this year.
Yes, DCAF, hopefully.
Will you be doing anything else after that, or just...
I actually put my name in for a couple of shows.
Okay.
Yeah, a couple of local shows right now. Being an indie comic, you're hoping to break even, really, with the travel and the food and the production of the comic books. So local now, but... You know, you work locally here. You never know what kind of people you might meet or what kind of breaks you might get.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I'm definitely looking for those
And
opportunities.
an event like this, ECCE, it's perfect because it's a 2-hour drive really for you.
Yep.
Same thing for us, and it's a fantastic venue if you want to try and get out and meet other people.
There are people from all over Canada here. There are people from the United States in the comic book industry here, and that's where people like myself, you know, have that opportunity to meet them.
Okay.
And maybe, like, I have some people that are out there now that I'm hoping to get those books into the hands of today, just to, you know, maybe they'll read it, maybe they'll like it, maybe
they'll pass it on to someone else.
They might pass it on to somebody else.
Absolutely.
But at least being here with those people here there's a chance.
Well, listen, Glenn, I don't want to take up any more of your time because I know, you know, you guys are here for the guests that are out here. So I do want to say, first of all, that I appreciate you taking the time to chat with us.
Yeah.
I'll get you out of here on one last question.
Sure.
In, well, a month from now, Superman or Fantastic Four, which one are you going to watch?
Oh, are you kidding me? Superman is. I'm
Okay.
going to see Superman.
All right.
I got chills seeing that trailer on television. Yeah, that looks like a great show.
All right, there it is. I'm going to take a poll for the rest of the day during our podcast, and we're going to figure out, see what won out at the end of the day.
Oh,
So,
it got to be Superman.
Glenn, man, thank you so much for doing this.
Pleasure.
Really appreciate it, guys. It is Dartmouth. Where can they find your work if they want to get this?
On the Square site, you know, Square Dartmouth or glencarabin.square.site
Okay.
is where you can buy it through the internet. I'll ship it. You can get it at local comic shops in the Halifax, Dartmouth area. I'll be hopefully dropping a few books off at Comic Hunter maybe tomorrow or Monday. So local shops, and if you can't find it anywhere or you can't find it on that Square site, Instagram, type in my name and I'll get you a copy.
That's awesome. Glenn, thanks again, man. Really appreciate this.
I could sit here all day and talk to you guys about comics.
There is nothing wrong with that. This is the perfect venue for it.
If I could start my day like this every day, everything would be, pretty good.
Enjoy the rest of the weekend, man.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
The recap sequence will return after these messages.
Hey, this is Jamie,
And this is Ryan.
and we're the Recap Sequence.
Be sure to tune in to us every Wednesday night on CHSR 97.9 FM or online at chsrfm.ca at 7 p.m. Atlantic, 6 p.m. Eastern.
And if you don't catch us live, you can catch our podcast on Spotify, on Amazon, anywhere you get your favorite podcasts. And we also have a YouTube channel you may have been watching. And if not, you should be. Catch us on YouTube at Recap Sequence.
And subscribe.
Subscribe, yeah, please.
We now return to the recap sequence.
I'm with Mike Del Mundo. Welcome, sir.
Hey, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for taking the time to chat with us. I know, I guess Friday was a fairly busy day with the crowds.
Yeah, actually, it wasn't too bad. It was nice and chill.
Is this your first time in Moncton?
Very first. Yeah, first time in the East Coast.
Well, welcome to the East Coast of Canada. I hope during your time here you're going to get a chance to experience a bit of the East Coast.
Yeah. We actually did a lot of quick tour stops yesterday.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
nice.
We set up at the convention.
Yeah.
And we set up early, and then we just did Magnetic Hill.
Okay.
And Hopewell Rocks.
Oh, nice.
And did that quickly enough to get back to the booth at 5.
So you're the reason we've got the nice weather then. You brought it with us because we've literally had 9 weeks of crappy weekends.
Really?
Yes. It has rained every weekend.
Oh man, I'm glad.
So thank you.
Yeah, I was hoping for nice weather. Here.
We appreciate you bringing it with us, with you. So.
Oh, you're welcome.
How are you finding the convention so far?
Nice. It's chill. I love the way they set up the booths. That was that's the first thing that I noticed was the octagon booths that they have downstairs where they would have the artists or the guests kind of lined up in a circle.
Yeah.
And then in the middle would be a rest area. Your kind of namaste area where you
you want to just duck away for a few minutes and catch your breath.
Yeah, a lot of space. Usually we're kind of cramped up in our tables and stuff, so it's very relaxing.
Well, that's good.
That might be an East Coast vibe, right?
That does have that has a very good East Coast vibe. So yes,
people are friendly here.
Yeah.
It's been a nice experience just from the start.
Do you do a lot of conventions in the run of a year?
No.
Okay.
I'm not much of a traveler, but I'll do the local conventions like Toronto. I'll do Fan Expo, and Toronto Comic Con during March break.
Yep.
And man, what I've
TCAF.
TCAF, no, but I do go and just check it out, and that's where I like finding out new books and all that cool stuff because it's all very comic focused.
Yeah.
So yeah, TCAF I just go just to take my family.
Yeah.
Man, this year, it's usually if I do conventions, it's just around Ontario.
Okay.
Sometimes we've done London Comic Con. And Niagara Comic Con. But yeah, I don't do much conventions on the year.
Okay.
Yeah, I always say I'm gonna do it, and then I'm just man, I'm too busy. It cuts into the time of deadlines, stuff like that. So I'm just all right, well, I have to go to East Coast Comic Con though.
Well, we appreciate you coming here, first of all. I mean, it's much appreciated for that. Yeah. Do you find when you go to the conventions, because it's interesting to hear you say that, you've got deadlines and you're busy. Are you finding when you come to a lot of conventions, you want to try and be there for the fans, but you're also trying to do work at the same time? Or is it just focus on the convention?
Yeah, it was like that before, when maybe years ago when I first was working.
Right.
But now I'm just I make sure I get as much as I can out of the way. And because you're going to be doing commissions as well,
right?
So that's work. But saying that, there's always work. Like, it's just your choice of whether or not you want to spend that time
Yeah, that's fair.
at conventions. But no, it's hard for me to concentrate on like doing work and then like talking to like the folks. I'm not good at multitasking that way.
Okay.
Even drawing, it's hard for me to draw and talk and draw and talk. It's just my mind doesn't work that way. So I either have to do one or the other.
Right.
Yeah.
Are you allowed to tell us what you're working on right now? It's okay if you can't. I'm not putting you on the spot.
Well, I have like a I'm not sure if you guys know, but me and Jonathan Hickman, Mike Huddleston, and Nick Spencer formed a crew
I
to
did
create
not know.
this. We're creating this, like, we're building a world. It's called 3 Worlds, 3 Moons.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and we've actually been we actually started 3 years ago, but it's like an online subscription-based format. So it's kind of just like the inner workings are happening in the background, like almost like secretly, because like it's just whoever's subscribed, like that's a small community that sees what's happening. But we've built a really like a 3-year kind of like trilogy of this world. We're actually like building, like we're starting the building process before we do the stories, right? So
And how is that process?
it's fun.
Yeah.
Because it's like I've never delved into the world of like concept, like, because basically me and Mike Huddleston are in charge of just basically building the visual world that Hickman and Spencer are building, right?
Right.
We're just taking their ideas and then like bring forth our ideas and visually putting this world together. So it's a lot of concepts and ideas, like concept building, like characters.
You get like carte blanche then, right? Like if to create, you take what they're giving you and go.
maximize carte blanche. Yeah, like,
Wow.
Yeah, Hickman and Spencer, and Nick are like, they're just amazing at like letting us just go. He's like, this is what we have. Like, these are like the stories and scripts that we're going with, and then from there we're just like, whoa, what if we like, instead of doing this character, what if we like add this to that character, or even fully change it, and they're fully down with it. They just want us to have fun and to create. Like, it's a very, very creative environment.
It sounds like there's pressure, but there's not at the same time.
With 3 Worlds?
Yeah.
I don't think there's any pressure.
There you go.
I think the pressure mainly is from like making sure the company keeps going.
Okay.
Right, but aside from that, like there's no pressure in terms of the creative part. We're all kind of like just vibing off each other. It's like almost like a crew of people that like are stuck in a room and just going idea after idea and like just going with those ideas.
That does sound like a lot of fun though, because it's just a creative output for everybody.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and it's we're building a world, so
Yeah.
like there's no existing
There's no
IP,
end in sight to
right?
it, really.
Yeah. So if I want to change the color of a character midway, we could do that. That was the original idea of like 3 Worlds, 3 Moons, is like we're gonna bring the community in to basically watch this world being built live, right? So like just imagine seeing like Star Wars, right? But like the beginning of like them building R2D2 or Tatooine or whatever,
Okay.
right? And like imagine if like you were seeing this live as a fan, and like years later, Star Wars becomes what it becomes, and you're like, I was there when they were doing
Day
this
one.
live, creating
Yeah.
like the first robots. You know?
That's actually that must be pretty cool for you then to see from where you guys started to where you would be at this point.
Yeah. We've actually had it's very documented, because we do live drawings for our community. And we'll even do like live, I don't even know what it's called, but like we'll all watch like a movie together, like one of our favorite movies, that like big world building movies, and we'll watch that all together with the community, like on a Saturday or something, and then everyone can kind of comment live.
That's really
and
cool.
then we're almost watching it, and like instead of watching it, because we've all probably watched it,
Yeah.
so we're almost like dissecting it and seeing what we love about it, and
You're
like the things that
basically
we never
providing your
noticed.
commentary for what you're watching right
Yeah.
there. Wow,
Yeah.
that's incredible.
Yeah, so it's a big world building kind of centric thing where we're building our world, but we're also like going through school as well.
So if someone wants, where can they find this if they want to follow along and subscribe to it?
3w3m.com.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when you go to these events,
Mm-hmm.
people come up to you. Do you have people come up and show you their work, or do you have people come up and say, "How do I get into
Yeah.
drawing and
Yeah, all the
this?"
time.
What do you tell them? What's your pitch?
My pitch is you got to make sure that, well, a lot of times when we get people that come in to show their portfolio, sometimes you don't know what they want to get into, right? Like it's just like a big portfolio of like drawings all over the place, right? So the main thing that I say is like, well, what do you want to do? Do you want to do comics? Do you want to be a painter, like a muralist? Do you want to do animation? Because sometimes when you look at the portfolios, that's like you can't tell where their focus is. So my main thing is like make sure like if you're showing it to like comic artists, like there's like a focus that you want to work on. So if you want to be a cover artist, like build your portfolio around cover art, right? Or if you want to be a sequential artist or an interior artist, build your portfolio around making pages.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And that's the main thing, because for me it's like, well, what do you want to do? So once you find out what you want to do, make sure you have the passion for it. And it's like really just the reason why you want to do it is because it's fun.
Well, I'm listening to you talk about Three Moons, Three Worlds, and I'm like, I can just hear the passionate side of you coming out when you're talking about this, right?
Yeah.
So that's awesome. Listen, Mike, I'm going to get you out of here. I got 2 questions for you because I know everyone's here. They want to meet you and stuff like that. So, and we appreciate you taking the time to talk to us here.
Yeah, no worries.
Are there any characters out there in Marvel, IDW, DC, whoever, that you would love to, your bucket list that you would love to work on?
Man, my bucket list, like working for Marvel and doing covers for like 15 plus years,
Yeah.
It's an amazing trip of being able to do like almost everything I've always wanted to do.
Yeah.
So my main things were, as a child, was X-Men.
Okay.
Right, because that's all my dad we only had one choice of buying a comic every Wednesday, and we'd have to choose between like an X-Men or like an Avengers book and I chose X books. So anything X-Men would be like a dream for me.
Okay.
Wolverine, which was crazy because when I first got my my gig, the first thing they asked was, do you want to draw a Wolverine book? It's like, so
no.
I was like, yeah, I could draw a Wolverine book. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. And
Yeah.
last one. Couple weeks, 2 big films come out. Fantastic Four, Superman. Which one for you?
I'm a Marvel dude, so
Okay, so
FF, yeah.
all right. There
But
we
I'm
go.
excited about the Superman. Like the trailer looks awesome. So I'm hopeful that they're both gonna kill.
Well, I would expect I would expect both of them. Both of them are getting really good press, and
That's great.
I think everybody's just super excited to see what James Gunn can do, because obviously look what he did with Guardians. So
Yeah. I love James Gunn.
there it is.
Yeah.
Listen, Mike, thank you very much for doing this.
Yeah,
Really
thank you.
appreciate
Thanks for
it,
having me.
and hope you enjoy the rest of ECCE. And don't be a stranger. Come back to the East Coast anytime.
Oh man, I will.
Love to have you.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome.
Hey, this is Tanner Zipshin, former host of the Cineplex Pre-Show, and you're listening to the recap sequence with Jamie and Ryan. Enjoy the show.
Sandy Carruthers, welcome to ECCE.
It's good to be here. It's always good to be here. Like every year it just seems to pass so quickly, and then all of a sudden, it's ECC time again.
Well, it just seemed like yesterday, literally,
Yeah.
that we were in Fredericton and you were
That's right.
launching. I'm going to pass it to you because I got in trouble
Oh,
earlier.
absolutely, yeah.
Issue 1, Dark Coast, right there. And what a book.
You liked it? You
Oh
enjoyed
my
it?
gosh, it
I'm
was just phenomenal.
so pleased. Yeah,
It's phenomenal.
yeah.
And I love that you guys did the launch there and you had pretty much all of the creative teams.
Pretty much most of them. The New Brunswick team was there, and a few. I think Nova Scotia team was there as well.
Yeah,
but
there
I'm
were
not
a few
sure.
of them.
But,
There were a few of them there.
Yeah.
And it was so well received, and it was so cool that you guys did a panel launch at the end of
Yes.
the second day there for it, and
Yeah.
so well received. And then One of the reasons why I came here, because I was going to get my hands on it. Issue 2 of Dark Coast is out.
And this is actually the premiere of issue 1 and 2 at the ECCE.
Is it?
Yeah, because this one didn't exist then, but yeah, this is issue 2. And what's nice about this one is at this show, there's a lot of people downstairs. I'm in the pavilion. It's the Dark Coast Pavilion, and all of the creators who work, most of them are there, so you can get your book and get it signed as well. So.
Well, I know where I'm coming afterwards because I want my copy of it. I loved it. How much fun was it doing issue 2?
Issue 2, well, issue 2 is always a fun journey because it's like you don't want to do a rinse and repeat. Mm-hmm. Because it's an anthology series, you want to have its own unique personality. So we got James to do the cover again, James Dixon, and he did the first one traditionally, and now this one he did digitally, which I thought was interesting. Gave it a different look, a different feel to it, and have quite a few new people in this issue as well. Matt Watkins from Fredericton did the first story. My wife Holly wrote the first story.
Oh, wow.
April Baird from Nova Scotia, Brianna Ormond illustrated a few stories that I had written. Of course, Tony and Brad are back, the Wild team, and I think that was it. Gosh, am I missing something? Oh yeah, and of course Andrew Clark.
Of course, yes. Well,
Andrew Clark. And his stories are always that perfect level of darkness that I enjoy, that helps me sleep at night.
How's the book been received? I mean, because the first issue, I know it sold like hotcakes.
I've been doing reprints of the first issue just because they've been selling out. They've been received very well. It's funny, because I go to every show with books, and my goal is always to do 2 books a year. And so with number 2, I want to have number 3 by the fall. So that'll be coming out, for probably ECCE.
Wow.
And in St. John. So
does the process get a little bit easier as you're going?
No, it never gets easier. Well, because it's like wrangling kittens in a field, I shouldn't say that. Actually, the people I work with are amazing. But everything's on a timeline.
Yeah.
Most people are doing this, part time. So, you have to kind of respect that. And so I try to make the deadlines as soft as possible and as long as possible to enable people to do their part as best they can. But yeah, no, it's so far, knock on wood, it's been going well. Issue 3 is going to be sci-fi horror related, so it's going to be much more, have that little blend of UFOs and stuff like that, which would be fun.
That's same teams in there, or do you have new creators in there?
Are there? Yeah, I have a tap on a couple of new creators.
Okay.
For issue 3, I'm always going to try. Like, really, what I find with Dark Coast is it's really nice to be able to go to shows and look at portfolios and read scripts. People submit scripts and what have you for 5-page short stories. Mm-hmm. What's really nice is to be able to put the push on from maritime talent. And these shows are great for that.
Absolutely.
Because I noticed that a lot of these people, they're getting their own tables. They're doing their own stuff, Case in point, Brad Seymour, who illustrated for Tony White, he's here. He's a guest at the show, and he's brought back Glory Bound, his wrestling comic book.
Okay.
But he reproduced them himself, number 1 and number 2. So he's going to continue doing that, like stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's so nice to see. It's nice to see like new comic books coming out of the Maritimes.
Well, and I know we have talked to you about this before when we had you on our show, that the plethora of talent that's out there now
crazy
is just exploded again.
And maybe it always was there, but because of the shows, I think they're coming out of the woodwork.
Yeah.
And man, I'm willing to look at anybody's work.
Yeah.
So.
And now you're here. You like I said, you're a staple for our show. You're a staple here at this convention.
100%.
But this year, this year's a special one because we didn't know. Brent tries to, hint drop some stuff that's coming. But this year you walk in and there's the big Dark Coast toy box.
Yeah,
you can get your
amazing.
picture taken in there. And you didn't know about this, right?
I didn't know anything about that until just a little before, and Derek sent me a photograph, and I'm like, what? That's amazing. And it looks really cool. Like, if you get photographed in it, it looks very cool.
We will be later. Don't worry. We will be. It's a tradition for us as well. And then the banner over top of where you are.
The
where you're
pavilion, yeah.
I mean, it's so eye catching.
Yeah. Well, and I'm hoping in the future. I mean, that I think because right now I'm thinking that's where I'm going with Sandstone is where I'm going to do the Dark Coast anthologies for the foreseeable future and see how that unfolds and what have you. But right now I'm quite content about just producing books and working with new talent, and old talent.
And Andrew
ancient
Clark.
Talent. And Andrew Clark, yes.
Yeah.
The ancient talent.
So listen, what's your con schedule like now going forward from here?
It's actually very minimal. I cut back quite a bit this year. Like last year I did a lot, and I found it a little taxing. So I kind of shaved off a few shows, and I feel much better about that. I'll be doing a decaf in Dartmouth. And then after that, there's a show in Charlottetown called Zine Fest.
Okay.
And there's a show called the Wood Islands Comic Expo. That's in the fall. And also I'm doing the A4C, which was the Freddie Beach before.
Which is now in St. John.
But it's now in St. John, which is a nicer venue, I think. And I'm looking forward to going back to St. John. It's a great city, nice people.
Oh, that's good.
Again, I just came from Capricorn, and Capricorn is always fun. People are always very nice. So, I mean, that's the highlight of it is that you go to these shows and you just meet nice people. You meet rotten people too, but, that's the way of the, that's the way of the game. But
that's true, and we meet Andrew Clark.
Fewer rotten people than you want to know, And then I mentioned Hal's here.
That's true, yes, Hal's here as well, so, I mean...
it all balances out,
It really does. Okay, so I'm going to get you out of here I've been asking our previous guests a question on this one here. Later this summer, in less than a month, Fantastic Four, Superman, both come out.
Yeah, fantastic, yeah.
Do you have a preference? I mean...
I'm equally excited about both of them.
Okay.
And I'm going to see both of them on the big screen. I always have a policy about going to the theater, and there are some movies you have to see on the big screen, and definitely these two are going to be... And they look good. They look fun.
Yeah.
Superman I'm particularly excited about just because... Superman needs a fresh,
a reboot.
Yeah. Right. And I think the cast and crew that they've bandied together are, from what I've seen from the trailers, it just looks fantastic. And you can't go wrong with Crypto. I mean,
right?
Come on, Fantastic Four, man. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. We've gone through how many Fantastic Four movies, including the Roger Corman one. And it's like I hope it hits the right formula. Yeah. They're looking at it like their first family. They're looking at it like they're tapping into those energies. So hopefully it'll stick. And Galactus looks awesome.
Yes. So hopefully they've gotten this right. I mean, did you see the picture that Pedro Pascal put out?
Which one?
It's the Fantastic Four logo with the Superman S sort of over top of it, and it's got Mr. Fantastic staring at the Superman.
No.
He did that himself.
Did he?
As a way of celebrating. He goes, I want to celebrate superhero movies.
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
I love it.
I'll send that to you if I find it.
Yeah.
So.
Who knows? We're going to get a Superman Spider-Man. You remember that old Treasury back in the 70s?
Oh, yes.
And wouldn't it be cool to see that kind of happen?
That would be really cool. Listen, Sandy, I can't thank you enough for talking to us here, man.
Thank you, guys.
Congratulations on the success of Dark Coast. This is fantastic.
You. Yep.
I hope you enjoy the rest of the day here. I heard yesterday was very well attended.
It was. Yeah.
People are having a fantastic time. I mean, can you believe it's the 10th anniversary?
I can't believe that. This is my... Like, I only came to ECCE the second year. Like, I wasn't there for the first year. And I've been going ever since. And,
you're a staple, I told you.
And I would not come. It's like, man, even if they didn't invite me, I'd be at the door, hanging around like some weirdo.
We'll get you, if that happens, we'll just get you a table outside.
Sounds
We're
like
going to tailgate off the trunk of our car, so there we'll go.
Even better.
We'll go from there. But listen, man, enjoy the rest of the con.
Right on.
Thank you very much for doing this.
Thank you, guys. You're doing good work.
Thank you.
Cheers.
On the next episode of the Recap Sequence, our East Coast Comic Expo 10th Anniversary Celebration Series continues with ECCE guests Heather Antos, Nick Bradshaw, Ron Sutton, and Stephanie Cook. Thanks for watching.